Hindu nationalism rising? A first round of voting has ended in the world's largest democracy amid tight security at polls in one state where violence erupted. Nearly 900 million voters are electing members of the lower house of India's parliament during staggered elections through June 1st. What might the BJP Party holding on to power mean for Christians in India? Well, joining us to share his thoughts is Open Doors U.S. CEO Ryan Brown. Ryan, India ranks number 11 on your annual World Watch list of persecuting countries. So what is life like for the 71 million Christians there?
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to come and just share a little bit about what's going on there. Life for Christians in India, that Hindu nationalism that you spoke of continues to rise. And the passage of anti-conversion laws has made it very, very difficult for Christians, and specifically Christian pastors, to continue to work and to minister in the area. They face increasing opposition as that BJP Party has taken increasing control over recent years, with seeing great success over the last two election cycles. The rights of Christians have continued to come under fire. And things like those anti-conversion laws are being used to, while on the books in paper, it would, those anti-conversion laws would seem to be a noble thing, would seem to protect the rights of religious minorities by preventing people from forced conversion. But in actuality, those are being utilized to leverage baseless accusations against pastors, pastors being imprisoned just with the accusation, pastors being threatened, pastors seeing churches destroyed, pastors being physically assaulted, all under the guise of these anti-conversion laws.
And one of the worst places right now is Manipur state, where the ethnic Kuki tribe, it's mostly Christian. They're about 16% of the population in Manipur. They've suffered attacks from other tribes in that northeastern state over land rights. They want more authority and land rights there. It's gotten so bad, as a result, votes were nullified in 11 polling stations after some armed men burst into the election areas and started smashing voting machines. So tell us about the Kuki ethnic Christians and what's going on in Manipur state.
Yeah, you're right. What originally did start out as more a tribal disputes and tribal opposition to one another, for Christians, it has really spread. There are Christians that, as you said, largely represented the Kuki, but there are Christians represented in other tribes as well, and that has really transcended beyond what had started off as just kind of these ethnic tensions, and has now really, for Christians, have come under fire by all parties. And so we're all familiar with the events of May of last year, and how those have just continued to create that unrest and instability throughout the area.
And Ryan, we know that young Indians are being trained up in militant Hindu nationalism. Many groups like the Bajrang Dal attack Christians. So what is your expectation for Christians in the future if the BJP Party holds on to the majority in Parliament?
Yeah, it would not be a good picture for Christians in India. We would expect to see that persecution continue to rise. And so this is a very important election. And, if you take a look at some of the populist sentiments, it would seem to suggest that BJP will continue to retain and continue to grow in power and influence there. There is much speculation that with that increased control and influence, that currently there are 11 states, 11 of the 28 that have anti-conversion laws. A couple of others have passed bills, but haven't necessarily seen those passed into law as of yet. But there is expectation that we could see intensified efforts to see a national anti-conversion law put in place. For Christians, this election is incredibly important, and we as Christians in the West, and those that would look to support our brothers and sisters, is one that we need to be lifting up in prayer.
Well, Prime Minister Modi is supposed to be representing all Indians, so why doesn't he do more to stop the violence? Does he support these attacks against Christians and Muslims too, I might add? They're also persecuted, a persecuted minority in India.
They are really anybody outside of that Hindu. That's the desire by many is to see India, which currently is technically a secular state and enjoys religious freedoms for all. There are many that would like to see India officially become a Hindu state, and so for all religious minorities, Christians and Muslims alike, they can come under fire. By those Hindu nationalists that are seeking to gain power and influence.
Well, what can the United States do? I mean, I know India is a key ally to help counter Chinese aggression in the region. So what can the U.S. do, and what can our viewers do, and how can we pray?
Yeah, I think the first and most important thing certainly is prayer. Many of your viewers are likely familiar with that. It has become increasingly difficult for outside organizations outside of India to even get aid into India. Many Christian organizations have been forced to close up shop and to forced out of India, and so it's a difficult situation. And so again, first and foremost, we need to be lifting up our brothers and sisters in prayer. We need to be lifting up this election, that it would be a fair election. We need to be praying that leaders that would allow for, again, some of those things that are on the books that would protect religious freedoms, that those would be upheld, that those would be seen as important, and that those would continue to be embraced there in India.
Okay, Ryan Braun, we'll see how the vote turns out. As things stand right now, projections are a resounding victory for the BJP. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.